Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ethan Hahn Plus, the podcast where you come for the fun, you come for the knowledge, you come for the spice, you come for the tea, you come for everything here in the state of Delaware, because I bring you the talent, I bring you all of the local peeps of Delaware on here to have them shine. Because not only am I a star, but everyone who's friends with me, they're stars too. Arguably bigger stars. This guest today is a very talented guest. Arguably a triple threat. A singer, an actor, a dancer, and we're going to dive deep into all of that today. Everyone, please welcome to the show, Aidan Briggs. Wow.
Thank you for having me.
Aidan Briggs, welcome to the show, man. Hey, so, yes, everyone, like I said in the intro there, Aidan is a performer, actor, and pretty much what I want to ask is, can you give a quick little bio, a little background on yourself? Like tell the people who you are. For all the thousands of people who watch this podcast, fill them in on who Aidan Briggs is.
Hopefully I have something to tell.
He's like, wait a second.
Wait a minute. Start basic, born and raised in Wilmington, Delaware.
Nice.
Been here basically my whole life. Only child, so just
me too. Okay,
mom and dad,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So you know.
We have a lot. We have that in common. There you go. You get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So born and raised Wilmington, Delaware. Went to
King's College, right? You went to King's College. You went to King's College.
I'm thinking too much.
Yeah, no, you're
fine.
You're fine. It's okay.
So Wilmington, Delaware, my whole life, but then for college, I went up to New York.
A good Christian man.
We
can say a good Christian man. Look at that. Yeah, me and Jazzy were telling that too, because we were doing a deep dive into social media, and we were like, talented Christian man. Look at this guy. He's the whole package. Wow. But yeah, like pretty much what I was telling people, like we were saying here, we met pretty much through theater and acting, and we met through Spam-A-Lot in a very interesting way. Because your dad directed that show,
he did,
which was, again, it was put together. It was a fun time, and first time meeting him, he's a great guy, and your mom was in the show too. And you kind of got thrown in. You got thrown in kind of last minute because there was a bit of a recasting there, right?
Yeah. So I don't want to go too much into the reasons why, but somebody had to step out of the show for medical reasons, we will say. Yeah. And I think they had a couple roles for different reasons, but the one I filled, it was for medical reasons. Yeah. My dad asked, he was like, would you be willing to step in? So it was a smaller role. It was mainly the lead Knight of Knee was the one that needed to get filled. But then since I was in those two little scenes in the beginning of Act 2, I could kind of fill in elsewhere for some other fun, goofy. Yeah, and you did it was so funny seeing the recasting too, because the original actor was like tall, large, and then Aidan here, I mean, you probably can tell on camera, is a bit shorter than him, of course, which, I mean, we're all shorter than that actor too, but that was like when they asked you to kind of hop on, like, was there like because there's, how far like in advance did they ask you before the show came out? It was like, I think my first rehearsal was, I think it was the week before Tech Week, I want to say. Or maybe two. Maybe two. It was pretty close to the show. But either way, it was pretty, Is that the in your whole like history with acting and stuff, is that like the closest call you've had, probably being asked to do a show, or has there been a closer call? There's been a closer call. Oh yeah? So although I will, it was a new musical that was being worked on. That I think is still in the works. I gotta follow back up with them actually. What's the musical? That I think about it. So it's called The Journey Home. Okay. Great musical. Basically through when I did musicals at college, the musical theater professor would bring in some outside directors who weren't necessarily college, teachers. One of them I stayed in touch with after I graduated, and I was getting ready to move out, actually. My last final year at school, getting ready to move out of my off-campus apartment, so it was like a big thing. I was like, I'm moving home. This wasn't just, let me move down the street or whatever, right, or across the city. And she she texts me, she goes, hey, somebody we lost a cast member, and there was only 8 people in it.
Ooh.
The 4 leads and the 4 other ensemble that filled other roles. She was like, one of our leads, can you do it? And I was like, yeah. I was like, let me do it.
Yeah.
Because it was also sort of, it was pretty much my first more professional thing too. So I was like, I got to take the opportunity.
Yeah. And again, this is in college?
And this was right after college.
Right after college.
I just graduated. So
Yeah.
I stayed up in New York for a few more weeks, I want to say, maybe another month or 2 after I graduated, just because my apartment lease, and I just wanted to stay there and kind of hang out and not worry about school.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then and I want to say that one was, I had to learn the whole show, the lines. Now, it was a staged reading, so we all had our scripts and everything. But when she called me, I mean,
so
it was basically like
so in the actual
next
performance,
week,
you're reading
I started Tech Week. They were rehearsing for, I think, a couple months.
Okay.
And I started Tech Week.
Gosh.
Now, again, granted, we had our scripts, but it was still, I had to learn the music for the first time.
Thing.
And
right. Yeah.
So,
well, that helps, though, at least having the scripts, because it will post to memorize everything.
It did.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, though. I mean, it was interesting, because it wasn't, when I say it was a staged reading, it was legitimately staged. So it wasn't like concert style where you see performers either go up with music or without music to a mic, and they just, straight out sing it. Like, I think Les Mis does it a lot. That's a lot of the revivals that have been going on of that. They've been doing it concert style, as they call it.
Stage readings, huh?
So this was legitimately in costume, moving around, but it was also, my understanding, I think it was promo for, I think they were trying to get backing for it.
Okay.
So they only had 2 or 3 shows of it. So I joined Tech Week,
and you saved the day. You saved the day.
I don't know about save the day, but yeah. Then the end of that week, they had their 2 or 3 shows for some smaller audiences, and in hopes to kind of get back.
Yeah, and it went well.
So, yeah.
And so you like to do, when it comes to acting and singing and dancing, when it comes to the 3, I mean, I'm sure
acting and singing.
Between acting and singing, what do you prefer? Like what's the thing? Like, do you, like, for example, if you were to, someone be like, here's an open mic, sing, or you have an opportunity to act in this thing, what are you picking between the 2?
Between the 2, sing.
Sing
for sure.
Sing, yeah. And what route do you take when singing? Like, what type of music do you like to sing when on stage?
Pretty much show tunes.
Show tunes, yeah. Yeah.
Although it's funny because I call myself like a fake Broadway lover.
Yeah.
Because I haven't seen a lot of things.
I feel like I'm kind of the same way.
I really haven't.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Dear Evan Hansen, I know like one song.
I barely know any
Town,
of that too.
no idea.
Yeah. So wait, okay, all right. So that sparks another question I want to ask. When did your acting journey start? Like, was it young? Did your parents get you into it, or were you a late bloomer? Like, how did you get into acting and performing, and you found out it's your passion and stuff like that?
Yeah. So very interesting. It's kind of all of that in one.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I loved. It's kind of a funny way to start. I loved Dracula, vampires, anything like that. Basically, if a
Like the
character
classic movie
had
monsters?
a cape,
A cape. Yeah. Had a cake.
Yeah, had a cake. I didn't mean that.
Thick, yeah.
If there was any, guy figure that had a cape, I was all over it.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, the Count from Sesame Street, loved him. He was my favorite character.
Yeah. Darth Vader.
Literally, Darth Vader. It didn't matter.
A cape.
They had a cape. I loved it. I had so many capes growing up. But
Really?
Anyway,
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
anyway, through that, I saw Phantom of the Opera, the 2004 movie with Gerard Butler. Loved it.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see Phantom of the Opera. I saw he's got a cape. I love it.
Yeah.
Literally right after the title song, when he's getting ready to sing Musical Night, he does this big cape flip.
Sure,
I loved it.
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
I'm in.
You're like,
I'm
that's
in.
the guy. Yeah.
But over time, I loved it so much. I was constantly watching it. I loved it. I loved it. I was acting it out.
Yeah.
I was singing it to
And
myself.
how old are you again?
Oh, I mean, if I was born in 2001, the movie was 2004. I had to be 4 or 5 at this point. So I was very, very young.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the start of like when I first saw New Phantom. I was acting it out with the movie, climbing up on the couch, like just doing all the scenes and everything with my cape, to play the character. And eventually I kind of just fell away from it as I grew up. And then about 10th grade, I came back and I was like, I found myself, I was sitting in class and I found myself like doing an assignment and I was singing the songs in my head. I was like, where'd that come from? Hadn't thought of any musical at all, ever. Never considered musicals. Didn't even know they existed, really.
Were your parents, because I mean, again, for quick background for everybody, like his parents were in Spam a lot, and they're pretty involved in the theater world. Were they, but when you were like growing up, did they still have a background in theater and acting, or they were still kind of growing in it too?
I think they both did it in like high school.
Okay.
I want to say.
Okay.
My dad, I think, I could be wrong about this, but I think my dad has a minor in theater.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
He
Shout
did it.
Doug.
He did it in. I want to say he did it in college too.
Okay.
Like went full blown, got a degree in it, but just
cool.
never really pursued it after that because he's now he's a doctor, he's a chiropractor, so he's kind of building his own practice and has been. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. There's so much I'm learning about Doug. Doug's got to come on the podcast. Yeah, Doug's got to come on.
What do we got? Chiropractor?
Yeah, wow.
Theater director, theater performer, Santa,
which is the biggest thing, Santa. Like, we'll put it in post if you're watching video.
Delaware
but
Santa.
There's a photo of Doug as Santa. Yeah, we'll put that right
DelawareSanta.com.
there. Is that real?
Yeah.
DelawareSanta.com?
No, literally. It's
it's
his thing. You can book him for gigs. He's already booked out into like 2025.
Oh, I bet. Wow.
He has stuff.
He's like the Santa.
He's like
He's the Santa.
I mean,
Santa's real. Santa's real, everybody.
He is.
Yeah,
I want to say he's one of 2 in the state of Delaware. And he's kind of like the north guy, but he knows the guy who does it for a lot of the down south stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They probably got like a headquarters.
It's legitimately like a whole community. I did not realize that.
Growing up, so I'm kidding. This is going off on a tangent now. Hang on, sorry. This is like opening my mind to things about the whole Santa thing. When you're growing up, did they do the whole Santa thing with you?
Yeah.
But like he was Santa too. Did they have to explain that? Like, there's a real Santa, but I'm also.
He didn't always have the beard.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
Only in the past, I don't know, handful of years, he's gone for the real beard.
Okay, this is relatively recent, the Santa thing.
No. He's done it my whole life.
But
the past handful of years, he's gone for the real beard, the long hair, all the different suits.
Okay.
He has like suits, like he has probably that whole wall.
Yeah,
filled
it's like
with
Batman in a bat cave. And
you don't know how accurate that is, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to do a trip to the house.
Yeah, you gotta
record
a little vlog.
A little vlog, yeah.
But no. So anyway.
Yeah.
So he had. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
So, Phantom came back to it in 10th grade, and then found myself singing it in class, and I was like, I want to rewatch it. Yeah. So I rewatched. The first one that I could find was the 25th anniversary. So it was the live one, the live stage thing at the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
I was in. Like that was like,
it's sold.
And I watched it and I was like, I want to watch it again.
Yeah.
So I watched it again, like right afterwards.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that.
I love it.
Could you imagine that? Like that, like being on stage?
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not asking you, but like, I was like, can you imagine like doing that? That'd be awesome. Mm-hmm. So, and then it was 10th grade, so then I auditioned for my first show in 10th grade.
I was going to say, so yeah, that sparked up from watching that, and you were like, I got to do something like that.
I want to do
10th grade, just curious, what was the first show you did?
Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz. What role did you have?
Tin Man.
I was Tin Man.
Were you really?
I was Tin Man in The Wiz, which is funny.
Right,
yeah, because...
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing pretty much. But yeah, I was Tin Man too. Look at that. Yeah. Only Childs and Tin Man. Look at that. It was just...
Because we're lonely.
We're just lonely. Exactly. That's what it was. That's cool, man. And so, and when you got that as Tin Man and everything, like when you're on stage, it just felt right.
It did. So it was a learning experience, though.
You say it was 10th grade?
10th grade.
Mine was 10th grade too. My first show. I'm not even kidding. Like I'm just. It was Anything Goes. Anything Goes right there up on the wall. But yeah, it was Evelyn Oakley in that. But yeah, 10th grade was like the spark for me too. My again, I've told the story so many times on the podcast, but pretty much long story short, what sparked it up for me was there was a girl I liked in the show, and I was trying to impress her, and I was just trying to be a background sailor. Went ahead and I sang a Frank Sinatra song, and they were like, "We really like your voice," and that's when the first time I was like actually recognized for my voice, and I was like, "Oh!" And then they put me as Evelyn Oakley in there, which is like one of the leads, and from then on, I was like, and I was like in that era too. I'm sure it was like a relief for you. You go through this thing of like, in high school, like you don't know what you want to do, or even in middle school, you're like, man, what is it I want to do?
Yeah.
And it's like, it's nice knowing like, wow, no, I do know what I like.
Yeah.
Like this is the passion, and going from there. Yeah. And so Wizard of Oz, like, so, and could you count how many shows you've done since then, or is it just you've done so many?
I probably could. So I did 10th, 11th, 12th. I think I did 2 or 3 in college.
Okay.
And then I did a handful at the Everett. So around 10, maybe.
Around 10 maybe
total.
now. Yeah. And
maybe 15 if we count like everything, like every performance.
And on your journey, where of course, you know, local theater stuff, and of course doing high school stuff, have you ever tried like auditioning for the big time, like any like big time shows and stuff like that? Like, has there been a adventure there?
Yeah.
You've
So
tried to experience.
sort of.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people in that industry, some of which that I worked with in some of the new musicals that I've worked on.
Okay.
I told you about one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But
Are those all in New York, by the way? Like, okay.
yeah, they were all in New York.
Cool.
Rehearsed in Ripley Greer Studios, and then another one we actually rehearsed in Open Jar.
Did you create those
Broadway,
connections?
which was the big Broadway one. Like I remember, the second new musical that I worked on, which is called The Crossing, amazing. We rehearsed at Open Jar Studios, had some readings, some filming promo videos, which are out on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But that was at Open Jar, and literally we're in a room, and Sweeney Todd's rehearsing right across the hall. Yeah.
Wow.
Sweeney Todd was across the hall, and Bad Cinderella was down the hall.
Wow.
So
Bad Cinderella. Wow.
So before Sweeney Todd was on Broadway, literally I walked out of the reading room for ours.
Yeah.
And I popped my head in, and I saw like the set of Sweeney Todd.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was wild.
Yeah.
And people are walking around with Phantom of the Opera badges and Sweeney Todd badges, and like, I'm like,
dude, you're close, man. Yeah, you're like in it then.
This?
Yeah, you're like in that world. Yeah.
Yeah. So in terms of pursuing it, my only thing is after I graduated, I didn't want to just do what a lot of people do and stay in New York with $2,000 enough to cover like a month of rent and just figure it out when I get there.
Yeah.
Some people love that. And some people, that's what they want to do. But me with a fiance and a future to plan for, I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to really be grounded in me before I really start doing it. But at the same time, the connections that I've made, don't lose them. You know?
Smart.
So it's not that I haven't pursued it, but I haven't let go
you have
of
some priorities
what I've made, you know?
Yeah.
Because then every time I go up to New York, I'm always reaching out to those people. I'm like, hey, can you meet up? Because some of those people are the very ones who are like, hey, we're doing this project.
Yeah.
We need somebody. Jump in. And I'm like, all right.
That's cool, man. Yeah. And you did all those connections originate from college? Like from college, and it kind of sprouted from there. Like you met so-and-so, you met so-and-so, and then from there. And it's so funny because I think we had this conversation too while we were doing Spamalot. Like this whole industry with acting and stuff, it's just based off connections. I mean, talent, of course, but one of the things that's going to get you is just who you know, networking from there, and just kind of like building the relationships. And that's a great route you're taking, is of course you prioritize, you know, what you got going on in your life, but like maintain those relationships, because that's going to be one of the most important things.
It was tough to sort of figure that out, because again, there's a lot of people out there who, like I said, they just want to move to New York and they want to make it big, and they want to have this whole like Hallmark movie
experience,
Hollywood experience. And it's
scary.
Tough.
It's scary.
It's tough.
Yeah.
New York is very, it's a busy place, but there's a reason they say it's a busy place, but it's a lonely place. There's so many people, but you can feel so alone.
Yeah.
So if you don't have like that grounding either in yourself or knowing that you're going home to either roommates or people that you're grounded in. So if you're not grounded in yourself or elsewhere, it can make it that much more difficult. It's
going to be, and again, it's a big risk for a lot of people.
Yeah.
When I graduated high school, my whole mindset was, I mean, which it is, it's the big times, New York or LA. And I remember I tried doing a few auditions, and it's a scary process because like you actually realize the weight of everything when you're in those audition processes. And I hate to say it, sometimes like I felt this with a few auditions where they really just look at you like you're just an object.
Yeah.
And like some of that whole part of it too kind of like turned me off. But I was like, I still want to do what I want to do, but I just got to find the right way. Because some of these like industries, like these organizations that I found were just so skeezy about it. And it's like, oh, you got to pay this amount, or you have to fix this about you. And I'm like, ooh, okay,
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, because not only being grounded in yourself, whether it's what I was sort of referring to being financially, and being comfortable with living and your living situation and whatever it is, but you got to be comfortable in your morals too, which is theater world's known for being dirty. I mean, it just 100%. Is, unfortunately. It's a business. It is, and that's what I've come to realize a lot recently with some other stuff that I got working right now. Is everything can seem all fun and games and these great opportunities and this and that, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and people are gonna do everything they can to get what they want, when they want it, how they want it, no matter what. And sometimes you're going up against people who are also willing to do whatever. When you might have I'm not comfortable doing that. I don't want to do that, or I don't like how that's being run. Something as simple as that other people are like, I don't care, sign me up. I'm in. And you got to go up against that. And so it's you got to ask yourself, how far are you willing to go for anything?
Exactly.
Sometimes.
And like you gotta do what feels right to you 100%. Because again, just too many occasions where if something doesn't feel like, I think that's one thing I learned too is it's kind of life in general is always kind of listen to your gut. Like not even just with like acting and stuff, but like just around the people that you're around, listen to your gut and just follow the right path. And for me, it's led me to, again, just like local theater, which is great. Just got into that recently. With the it's been about a year now. I've just been doing all that stuff with the Everett, and it's cool because again, I've met people like you. Again, going back to building the connections, and it's been a pretty. How old are you?
22.
You're 22, so I'm 25. Okay, yeah. So yeah, we're not too far.
And that's the other thing too is everybody has a different path.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's at the same time, it doesn't matter your age necessarily. I mean, there's a saying that I've heard from a page that I follow that has to do with health and motivation and stuff like that. And they always say, you're never too old, it's never too late.
Yeah.
Which is true, but at the same time, you also have to understand you have to be comfortable, again, with who you are. And I totally just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
You're fine.
Cut that out.
No, you're fine. But no, I know where you're taking there. I was talking to Jazzy about this the other day. Is like, I was talking to her like, I want to figure like, hopefully, like because I sometimes put myself in a hole of, man, I really want to like get paid to be an entertainer. I want to do this in the future, but I just don't know where to take it. And then, but what we all got to tell ourselves is like, it's never. Don't stop, like, just because, like, you can't stop yourself being like, but, like, I'm in my 20s and, like, this is my last chance.
Exactly.
It's not your last chance.
It's not.
There's so many actors out there that got found, I couldn't name them,
life.
But later in life, like, in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Like, people who get found, and it's just a matter of, like, the actions they took to get there.
Yeah, exactly. And, again, part of that is who you know.
Yeah.
And that's... I remember now.
Yeah. Okay.
That's where I was going with it. You're never it's never too old. It's never too late.
Yes.
Everybody has a different path. So there's no, especially in this industry, there's no cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like,
that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And that's the other thing that I'm not an expert. I'm not. I haven't been doing this for years.
Yeah.
I'm new to it too. But what's always been sort of annoying to me is everyone's, are you going out? Are you auditioning? Are you auditioning?
Right.
And like, not in the way that you're asking me where we're just talking, but like people who like aren't in the industry, because that's their like,
that's their
image. And it's like,
of what it is.
So if you're not out auditioning, they're like, you're not going to make it.
You're not doing anything.
You're
like,
not doing anything.
Yes.
It's like, no.
Yes.
That's not how this works.
That's not how it works.
That's not how it works. There's so many other factors. And I've had so many opportunities come my way when I haven't been auditioning.
Yeah.
You know why? because of who I know.
You know,
and who
the
people who
connections.
know me and know that I'm available and keeping that going. Like
Yeah.
it's
It's a network heavy industry.
It is. It
Big
is.
time now. Yeah, man. I had so like I remember like again cuz I didn't go to college. I just kind of was like I want to figure out my whole
really
thing.
didn't?
I didn't go. I just graduated high school, started working at a movie theater and started doing YouTube on the side, and I was like this will grow into something hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah, and just
I
kind
didn't know
of
that.
just kind of kept going and made content, eventually became the podcast, but in this whole journey, people are always like, oh, come on. You go on backstage. You have to audition for this. Go on backstage. Do this.
Yeah.
Have you looked at this? And granted, I tried backstage and I
Yeah.
tried out looking at audition
Yeah.
stuff. What's hard is, and again, it goes back to like what you feel right about.
Yeah.
Some things are just like, I mean, in LA, and then
Yeah.
you got to do like this, that, and the third. And people can argue, which I've heard all the time, is like, but that's your dream. You got to
what you gotta
pursue it,
do.
do all
It's-
that. And it's like, listen, if it doesn't feel right to me,
Yeah.
like, I'm not gonna do it. And
Yeah.
like, it's a matter of, and I started growing this mindset of, and one of my buddies, Donovan, I'll always go back to what he told me is, listen, because he was on my side. Like so many people were telling me, you gotta leave Delaware. You gotta leave Delaware if you want to pursue this. My buddy Donovan said, just build it here in Delaware. It said because
Yeah.
where you're going, you're gonna be a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
Why don't you be a big fish in a little pond? And I
Yeah.
was like, dude, yes. And then eventually you started grinding more and more and more, and then I think that's literally just the goal I'm trying to do with, of course, having you on the podcast and with other people on the podcast. Like, we need to get seen somehow,
Yeah.
and I want to help. Not even just myself. I want to help other people, like creators, actors, get seen in the Delaware space, because I feel like
Yeah.
not even just Delaware, but other states that just don't have this like performing arts background. There's people like us, dude,
Yeah.
that want to get seen.
Yeah.
And it's like, we got to take some action. We just start creating things, start doing.
But at the
Yeah.
end, and on that, it's like, look at what we're doing. Well, yes, you're building your brand, I'm building mine.
Yeah.
Same time, we're networking, we're helping each other.
Exactly.
Comes
Exactly.
full circle, right back to it.
Full
like,
circle, right back to the whole message too.
Also,
Yeah.
I just hit this table.
You're
That's
fine. People
brain
do it
just
all the
went
time.
Crazy.
People do it all the time. But yeah. But I'll pull it up here in post. So Aidan here is involved in a free Broadway recital to celebrate ARP's top volunteer of 2023. Now, honestly, because I mean, me and Jazzy are planning to go to this. Now, when this episode comes out, the full on episode, this will be after the fact. But we are gonna make a.
It went
promo.
great.
It went great.
It went amazing.
Dude, I remember
Everything
being there.
went
Me and Jazzy were
flawless.
like, "Oh my gosh, he's so good." Aidan, what a talent! What a talent! But you have this thing going on, free Broadway recital, and please explain what it is, and pitch it. Yeah, there you go.
Pitch it.
Yeah,
I'll
what
do
you
my
got?
best.
Yeah.
So AARP has an annual award ceremony for their volunteers, for a volunteer. I don't know too much about the process for that, but I guess there's one volunteer that wins this award, and it's a really big deal. But they've done everything from have a lunch, have a dinner, and they invite all these, ARP employees, paid employees, and volunteers, and to celebrate this one person. But they've done a lunch, they've done a dinner, they've done, you name it. They've rented a movie theater and seen a movie. They've done, all sorts of stuff. But through some networking and connections, I was able to meet somebody from AARP, and we discussed other opportunities. And apparently they've been, my understanding is, I don't want to speak for AARP.
Yeah.
My understanding is they've wanted to kind of pursue more of the musical theater performance route,
Very cool.
which is difficult to do in Delaware, like we talked about.
yeah.
Showing local talent, all that sort of stuff that they've been wanting to do. So through a lot of talking, we started talking about this probably back in February or March.
Okay.
So it took, a good 6-7 months of just talking before anything even came out about it. Of just planning and figuring out how things were going to work and, all that. But yeah, so come full circle, we're doing for the award ceremony, we're doing a performance at the Grand.
So you'll be performing with a live orchestra, to my understanding.
I am.
Which is awesome. Do you know people in the orchestra? Like, have you been rehearsing with them?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So,
Okay.
Yes, it went
Yeah,
great.
yes, it went great.
Was,
the timing of this
I
is
knew
weird.
everyone, yeah. No, so I was able to meet, we had a little meeting where I was able to meet some of the orchestra members, and we were able to talk. I've met the
Nice.
conductor a couple times, James Allen Anderson. awesome guy. He's actually a conductor at University of Delaware for their orchestras. And
Nice.
He's done stuff
Does
all
he know
around the
Dwayne
world.
Cottrell? Did you make that
does.
connection?
He
Of
does.
course he does. Yeah.
I didn't talk to him, but I talked to Dwayne.
Yeah.
So Dwayne knows him.
That's awesome.
So I guess I'm sure they know
Cool.
each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was able to meet some of them, and they've been rehearsing because it's kind of one of those things. I can't get with them until they got the orchestra stuff kind of
Right.
you know. So hopefully we'll be getting in with them in the next few weeks here.
So again, yeah, they come to you with the idea of doing like a musical thing. Did they pitch the whole idea to you? They're like, hey, we want you to sing with a live band, and we're gonna be giving out awards.
Yeah.
Like, and in between you're gonna be singing, or
Yeah, so that was part of what we talked about for all those months was what is the flow of this going to be? Because it's great.
Yeah.
We got a singer doing some Broadway tunes. We can do it at the Grand. Mm-hmm. Again, hopefully I'm not saying too much because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but it started as me with a piano in the Baby Grand, which is in the Grand Opera House, but it's like down the hall. It's like a smaller 300-seat theater. Mm-hmm. And it was like, we'll just sing, an hour or whatever of some songs.
Yeah.
And we'll do the award ceremony either at the beginning, at the end, something maybe in the middle. But now it's grown to
That's exciting,
to
man.
the big hall, 65-piece orchestra, and
Are you allowed to say what songs you're singing? I mean, but this can either be for the ad or for the episode. We'll just But we'll do it for the episodes as after the fact. But what songs did you sing?
So, yeah. What songs did you sing?
Yeah.
So, do you want all of them or just some of them?
Oh, all of them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. What songs did you sing? Even though they probably went really great by the time this came out.
No, they went great.
They went great. They went fantastic.
So I'll be doing. I gotta think of the set list here. So, "Oh What a Beautiful Morning." Mm-hmm. So a lot of the classics.
Nice.
So, "Oh What a Beautiful Morning," "Music of the Night" from Phantom, "You'll Never Walk Alone" from Carousel, and then "Anthem" from Chess.
Nice.
Then we're doing the award ceremony as kind of the intermission.
Yeah.
And then after that will be what's after that? Oh, the orchestra is doing a medley.
That's cool.
Then Maria from West Side Story. So the orchestra medley is going to be of West Side Story.
Okay.
And then it's going to end with me singing Maria.
Amazing. Yeah.
And then, after that, Some Enchanted Evening.
Did you pick it or did they pick the songs? Did you
Team effort.
Team effort.
Team
Nice.
effort.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
Because some of it was just music we were able to get was part of it.
And again, first time doing something like this. Like,
Yeah.
you've never really done anything like that before.
And then
That's exciting,
Bring
man.
Him Home and Impossible Dream.
Oh my gosh, get out, dude.
So it's a
I did swoon in the audience. Yes, I was
you
swooning
did.
in the
You
audience.
passed out. Thank you.
In your whole journey, do you have a specific show that sticks out that you're like, this was the show that I loved the most? Was it Jack Kelly and Newsies? Because my girlfriend apparently loves that, even though she didn't even go see it. And what I want to tell everyone is before Aidan came over, I was just, debriefing Jazzy, my girlfriend, on what we're going to talk about. And she was like, bring up Jack Kelly and Newsies, because Jazzy is a big Jeremy Jordan fan, Newsies fan, and I'd be remiss if I don't bring it up. So I mean, well, even if it's not your favorite performance, how was that one specifically? A Newsies?
We'll talk about that one first.
Okay.
So so it was amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was my second community theater performance ever.
Wow.
So I had done Wizard of Oz, and then I did Pirates of Penzance my junior year of high school.
Okay.
Do you know Chloe Boggs?
Yes. Yeah.
So she came to Red Lion where I was doing that's not where I went, but that's where the show was. And she was, I think, the assistant director or the choreographer or both maybe. So, and she was like, hey, there's a theater in Middletown. Come down and try out. So my first community theater show was Les Mis, but that was a summer camp. So that was like the 3 weeks, whatever it was. Like, you're there all day, every day, and then the shows are the end of the second weekend. As that was finishing, we had those rehearsals during the day, and at night I stayed in Middletown because then we had Newsies rehearsals.
Wow. Oh, you were busy.
So it was a hectic
doing
summer.
Overtime.
Yeah,
man. Yeah.
So that was like the start. So I wasn't expecting it, honestly. I was like, yeah, I mean, Newsies seems like a cool show. Hadn't ever seen it before.
Yeah.
But I was like, it seems like a cool show. It's another one. You know, I watched it on Netflix after I got cast. I was like, I should probably see what I'm getting into.
What a mood. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, the show was amazing. It was the Delaware premiere. So my understanding was the rights had just come out to get it. And the Everett was the first theater to grab it.
Wow.
So they were the first people in Delaware to do it. And then after that, every high school was doing it. My senior year. That's what they did.
Senior year Newsies.
Yeah, they did it again. So yeah, no, it was an amazing show. Super, super fun. That's actually where I met a lot of the people that I know now at the Everett.
Nice.
Was kind of that. Just because that was... Les Mis, I think, kind of brought a lot of attention back to the Everett. Because I'd never heard of it until then. Even just locally. But now it's like, you tell anybody, everyone's like, oh yeah, down in Middletown? It's like, yeah. Because it's grown, at least to my viewing. It seems like it's grown.
They've been doing a lot of shows.
But then, Newsies, I think it sold out every show, all 6. I think they even oversold seats.
Wow.
Like, they gave people seats because people were like, I want to get in. They were like, we don't have any more. They're like, we'll sit anywhere.
What year was this when they did Newsies?
2019.
Okay, 2019.
No, not 2019. 2017.
Okay, around that time. Yeah,
I went to college in 2019, so it wasn't 2019.
Yeah. So around that time.
Around that.
And you've been, how many productions at the Everett have you done now?
Ooh.
Newsies.
Les Mis, Newsies.
Yeah.
Annie,
yeah, that's right. You did do Annie. Yeah.
What else did I do? I did Spam-A-Lot.
Spam-A-Lot count. Yeah, there you go. You did. There was a photo I saw with you, and I'm going to say his name because I want to get him on the show. Bob Gatchell.
Yeah.
There was a photo I saw with you and him side by side. I forget exactly. I think he might have tagged you in it. I saw because I'm friends with him on Facebook.
Was I looking over him at a chair?
Yes. What show was that?
So that was Evita. That was when we did Evita down at Milburn Stone.
Oh, okay.
Which that was, I want to say, 2019.
Okay, that was 2019.
Because I think that was my last community theater show before I went to New York.
Okay. Milburn Stone is a place I want to try out eventually too.
It's different.
It's different.
When you've gone to the Everett, because the Everett is like straight out to the audience. Milburn Stone, you got to remember.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, they're like on the floor, right?
You're on the floor and you have to like look up. Like it's legitimately like there's balconies that you gotta.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what that one was. So he was Juan Perón and I was Che.
Nice, yeah. I saw him because I remember that was actually the first time I think I saw a photo of you. Because again, still friending people on Facebook and stuff like that. Joining Spam-A-Lot, knowing your dad Doug first, I was friends with Bob, and then I remember this is a whole funny story. He tagged you in a photo, and I saw last name Briggs, and I told Jazzy, I'm like, "Yo, Bob, look, this is Doug's son." Yeah. Look at that, real looking actor. Look at that here. Yeah. And me and her were just laughing, like, wow, that's Doug's son. I was like, wow, that's so crazy. Yeah. But no, again, a lot of cool talent over there in Everett, a lot of cool connections made. Yeah. But the best performance you had, what was that one for you?
It's a really good question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love this question. I hate it at the same time.
Sure.
Because I feel like every actor, actress has their favorite role.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also want to.
What's the worst production you've been?
I know. I always want to be like. I feel like I'm going to be very cliche and be like, I loved all of them for different reasons.
Yeah.
They all made me grow as an actor. No, So I'll say this one because this is the first thing that comes to mind. This happened this past September, and it wasn't a musical performance, like it wasn't a show, but I had the opportunity. But performance wise, I performed at City Winery in New York City, opening for Ramin Karimloo, which was amazing.
Now
that was by far my favorite performance that I've ever done.
I don't. People probably do. I don't recognize the name, which I don't know. It's just like
how dare you?
I know. The moment you said it, the way you said it too, I was like, I'm supposed to know who this is.
No, you're fine. So going back to the whole thing of Phantom, he played the Phantom in the 25th anniversary DVD at the Robert Hall. So not only when I watched that show was I like, that looks fun, I want to do that. It was, for me at that time, it was, I wanted to do what that guy does.
Yeah.
So I started following him, and everything he did, I was like, I want to do that. Every role he was like, I want to do that role. Just he was in a band. I wanted to start a band. I was like, just to do
awesome.
everything that he did. Like I completely looked up to this guy. It was mind blowing.
And again, I'm assuming that's just not more through connection. Someone probably knew that you had.
So one of the connections that I had to him was the book writer. So he's been working on this newer musical called The Last Match, which is like a pro rock wrestling musical. Newer concept for a musical. But I believe the book writer or the writer for the show, his name is Jason Huza, I believe is how you pronounce it. Okay. So when I worked on the new musical The Crossing, he wrote that one as well. So kind of through that circle, I was able to.
That's awesome.
So it was again.
I bet that was a surreal moment for you. That's like a big full circle moment, man.
It was it was unbelievable because I've been following him for 5 years now, and about 5. Well, I guess probably like 6 or 7 now. But I had that opportunity. I got in touch with him, and he asked me, and I surprised my family with it. Because they knew, because it was for my birthday. So my mom got my whole family, me, my dad, my fiance, and her, all tickets to go up and see him in New York. And I was like, yeah, Ramin, he wants me to, he invited me to come to, the sound check and this and that. And they were hesitant. They were like, why does he want you there? Right. Like, why do we come up to the city for you to just go off? Like all that kind of stuff. So then I went back down. When they got there, I sat at the table with them, and he went up, which is the picture was up there on my Instagram. He was up there, and he goes, or for me performing there.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so those 2 pictures next to the ARP thing.
Oh, okay.
So that was one, and then tab over one more, not tab over. Or sorry, no, it was on that one.
Oh, the carousel.
Yeah. Whatever, I don't know what you call it. Yeah. So that was me with him.
Dude, yeah.
And then I think there was a second one on the other one too, which is by far my favorite picture. Not that one, but one more, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that one, dude, that's awesome.
I was.
Yeah, but you were floating.
I was in another world. Yeah. Like it was by far, and just what he said was just unbelievable. When he introduced me, so I was sitting at the table, and I invited some of my friends who were in New York to come, so they knew what I was doing. But my family were just like, oh, they know him through me, so they were coming to have a night out, catch up with me, whatever. They had no idea, so my friends were recording, get my family's reaction. Yeah. And he goes, so we like to always, every time the band does something, we like to have somebody open for us, and I stand up, and my family's like, they're like, shut up.
Oh my gosh.
My fiance was freaking out. She's like, stop it right now. She's like, oh my gosh. And he goes, so Aidan Briggs, where you at?
Oh, dude.
And I start walking up, and my family's like, no. They're like, what?
Incredible. Yeah.
So then go up, and that was him. He was like, I'll let you play my guitar. So I'm playing his guitar.
That's so cool, dude. I can't even imagine
I
can imagine what all of them at the table were just like, what?
Yeah,
like, is this a dream?
It was awesome.
I'm glad you got to experience that, man.
There was just so many things about what he said, how he treated me when I was there backstage with him and the band, and just totally included me. He's just absolutely amazing. It was so performance-wise, that takes the cake. Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome, man.
Did I like what I sang? I was a little shaky because I was nervous.
But one of your idols is right in front of you, man, and literally called you up to stage. That is anyone, dude. Like anyone would be like, oh, yeah. So that's awesome, man.
But it was just that picture just said everything.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan Briggs has peaked. There you go.
It's all downhill from here.
It's all downhill from here. Anything you want to actually talk about or bring up on the podcast that I like to give people an opportunity? Anything you want to bring up before we wrap up here, like to talk about any questions in the world? Any topics you've already wanted to talk about on a podcast?
Well, honestly, it's my first time on a podcast.
Yeah, great.
Everyone watching is gonna be like, "Oh, we can tell."
I break a lot of podcast virginities on here. They're just like, because again, it goes back to it's Delaware. You know, this is not a normal thing that people will do. And dude, I've had people on. Like, I know I've said like, I want to have like actors and like people, business owners on. But sometimes if I just want to get an episode going, I'll just have a friend from church and be like, dude, okay. Sometimes people are like, what am I going to talk about? Just I'll turn the mics on. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, which I love. Like, I think that was probably when I did my podcast. I think that's one of the things that I wasn't good at was just letting the conversation roll. Like, I wanted it to be too scripted out. I wanted to ask the questions like word for word. Like,
I mean,
it was new for me too.
Certain styles have pros and cons. Like, my style is not perfect by any means. Like, sometimes people do come on and they're like, "What?" I'm just like, "Listen, start talking."
It looks pretty.
Start talking.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's grown. It's grown for sure. I will put a picture right here, back in the garage. What I tell people is, I want to be. Hopefully, I get to be one of those stories that's like, we started in a garage. And then now we have our own studio in LA or some corner like that. Who knows, man?
Who knows? I think you're going far.
I appreciate that. Well, we'll see what we can keep doing. Again, I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, everyone. Hey, that was Aidan Briggs. Hey, a big hand for Aidan Briggs, everyone. Wow, one of the best performers we've had on this podcast. Great stories all around. And again, I'm wishing him the best for his journeys in acting and performing. And remember, guys, like, this is the show. If you have something you want to talk about, listen, if it's about your passions, your business, what you had for breakfast this morning, what you had for dinner the other night, if you didn't eat at all, what diet are you on? Come on the podcast, let's talk about it, and let's dissect it. Always remember, you can find the video for this podcast on Ethan Hunt Productions on my YouTube channel. As of right now, we are almost to 700 subscribers, so come on, about 15 more subscribers and we'll hit 700 subscribers. Help us get there, and then eventually we'll hit 1,000 subscribers. Ooh. And speaking of 1,000, we are almost at 1,000 views for SWAT Godfather, the film that we created this past year. Go ahead and check it out. SWAT Godfather's up on there. You do not have to watch the first 3 by any means. We do a recap in the 4th one, but watch SWAT Godfather. The link will be down below. Check out the full film there. And we're going to be doing a lot of projects this year, a lot of things that we're going to be announcing in the next couple months. And who knows, maybe Aidan wants to be a part of those film projects. We'll keep in touch, Yeah, hey, we're just recruiting more actors for these future projects, and it'll be a really good time. And remember, you can find me on Ethan Hunt Productions on Instagram. All that stuff will be linked down below. I'll pass it over to Aidan. Any social media platforms you want to promote?
Absolutely. So my main social media is my my Instagram. I think it's what is it? Aidan D Briggs.
We have it up here.
I've changed it so many times. Yeah. So
there you go.
Aidan D Briggs.
Yeah.
That's where I'm kind of trying to boost that one up now that I'm kind of doing some more professional type things.
All right, everyone. Well, again, thank you for watching, and always remember, this has been Ethan Hahn plus
Aidan Briggs.
Now we do fake talking like in the talk shows. Oh yeah. Oh, that's so funny. Jazzy hates it when I do this in the podcast.
Why? Yeah. Just like the fakest.
Credits roll.
Dude, we